They say that in life, it is never too late to learn. It is surprising that I am convinced that what I considered to be rumors most likely would be true. It has to do with my sister, my mother's firstborn. I am my mother's secondborn. I will come to describe my sister. After describing my sister, I am going to describe how many people believed that her death was a murder. And I was the person who was shielding the person whom everybody was, not everybody, whom many people are saying that she killed my sister. I even went and visited her and asked her to tell me about my sister's last moments. And she told me, your sister was seated here, we were whatever, whatever, whatever. She recreated the last incidents of my sister before my sister passed on. And I went back to everybody and said, you are wrong. You are saying so and so killed my sister, but my sister got a second stroke. And as you know, the second stroke, somebody never survives a second stroke. Well, actually what happens is when you get a stroke, it gets either on your left side of the body, it kills either the left side of the body or kills the right side of the body. Now the second stroke kills the other side. So you cannot survive a second stroke. So I just said she had a second stroke, and I was pushing for that. It reminds me, it reminds me of, it reminds me of the story about an old woman with an old widow with a hyena. She had a lot of commotion outside. She went out, found out that there was a hyena which was worried. The hyena told her, young men are pursuing me and they want to kill me. Can you hide me in your place? Then she hid the hyena. When she hid the hyena, the young men came. Shosho, have you seen a hyena around? Whatever. She said, no, I have not seen. Said, okay, if you see a hyena around, just shout. We come and kill it. They went. When they went, the hyena came out of the hiding and thanked her for saving his life. And then the hyena told her, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I've not eaten. It went on to eat her. But when she shouted, the young men didn't take her serious. And you know the story. That is the story of my sister. Uh, when she died, everybody, when she died, not everybody, many people said that that she had eaten something. Actually, let me quote her son. Sijui alikula nini kwa auntie ndio akapata hiyo shida akakufa. That is exact what my nephew told me. And I told my nephew, no, let us not treat every death as whatever. It is just unfortunate that my sister, who is your mother, died. Let us not use that opportunity to spoil the name of our relative, especially knowing in life that they were very, very close. They were very, very close. I'll fast forward and also say that I believe that the same person wanted me dead recently. Now the question is, she's a rich woman. She's rich. And the richness she inherited. Let me stop there. My sister she was to gain nothing financially from my sister. To me, maybe she would have gained something by saying that the person who is spoiling her name is dead. Otherwise, I'm poor. Financially, I cannot be compared to her. Now the question comes: why kill close relatives? Even if I've wronged her or whatever, does that reach to an extent that she would even wish me dead? Well, I've no explanation. The only explanation maybe is what people talk. You know, matters of religion is funny. And I personally, I used to run two desks. I used to run the criminal intelligence desk and the tribal tension, intertribal tension desk. But the officer who was in charge of the religion desk, whenever he was sick or on leave or whatever, whenever he was not around, I would hold a brief for his desk, the religious desk. There are so many things where you hear human sacrifice and whatever. I have heard that, and I don't have reason why somebody who is very rich. You see, any rich person is like the British monarch. There is the prince heir to the throne, then there is the third, there is even the 26th or 27th person to the throne. So if I have a relative who is very distant, if he dies, I consider myself going nearer his. So if I'm the 41st heir and something, whether deliberate or accidental, happens to the 40, don't you think I'll inherit that property? So when somebody's death happens and you earn financially, then it is understandable. But then there is some unsubstantiated rumors, and I'm not qualified to say that some religion have such things that the people may that is the only. I mean, in the absence of any reasonable reason, I don't know why. Let me say that I took a picture with my sister. The picture, what do you call it? The profile picture here? Uh, I didn't understand. You see, there's no time I've ever told my sister I'm visiting her. Every time I visited her, she would see me at the door. And there is no time I've ever told my sister how long I'm staying at her place. Uh, if I ever told my sister how long I'm staying, like there was a time when there was an election in Changamwe. So I just said I've come for the election. After election, I'm going back. I've never told my sister when I'm going. Apart from that one occasion, uh, I just tell her, okay, kesho narudi bara or something like that. And when she visits me, she never tells me when come. I mean, the only time she tells me is to make sure that I'm in the house, or if I've moved from the house that I was staying. Because I remember my sister stayed for decades in the same house, decades. Actually, the house that she died in, she stayed in that house for decades. So whenever she would visit me, she used to call to know whether because especially there's some time I used to stay. I can count some houses where There's some houses I never stayed for 2 years. But right now, I can say that where I'm staying now, mm, I moved here, let's say, just before, a few months before Corona. So there was a time when I used to stay in a house. 2 years I moved. 2 years I moved. So she could call and want to know, or you tell me that I'm going to where you used to stay, so that. But I would tell her, "Hey, usiende huko." I ran away with the rent. Such things. But then I found it hard that a cousin of ours, whom I'll not name, a cousin of ours called me and said, "I'm coming with your sister. I'm coming with your sister. Would you be available? Are you willing to receive us?" I got concerned. I got concerned. But you see, some things you just, especially we NIS people, most of our things we just keep it. If you start asking, kwani kulikuwa na shida ama nini? Since when did you start seeking for oh no. I just kept quiet, but I noted something there. My sister is not calling me. A cousin is calling me. And the cousin is asking if I can allow them to come. I found if you have differed with your sister or anything, maybe you, or even if you have not differed, but there are rumors that you have differed. But I found it odd. But I didn't say, I just said, okay, come. Then they came. Of course, the house they are coming to, I had moved. The house they were coming to, I had moved, and there was no way they could know my house. So they came and found me. They came and found me. That is when I knew why they had come. My sister told me that she has stayed in Mombasa for quite long, and she's going to buy land. That is what she said. She's going to buy land and move to that land and stay there forever. She didn't tell me who was selling her the land and whatever. So she wanted me to say if it is okay by me or say anything. I said there was nothing wrong with that. We talked and we really talked. But what I've come to realize is that the last day you are meeting somebody, you really talk without knowing. It is only that when she's gone that you realize. Then she said she's going to get land, and that is where she's going to settle for the rest of her days. I said, okay. The following day we moved, we went around town, we went everywhere. Evening, I had to go back home. Actually, the reason why we had to part was it was approaching evening, and I was to supervise my guards. So I told them, and then they went off to Nanyuki, where she was to buy the land. I later learned that they had agreed and whatever. I said, if she's, you know, as they say, when the if the shoe fits, then don't change it, isn't it? Now, when I asked her how about land, she's happy, whatever. I didn't even want to know whom she's buying from, how much. She said, no, I saw the land and it's okay. And I said, okay, it's okay. Then the next time I heard about her was that she was not feeling well. Shortly after that, when she visited me, she was very, very, she was very healthy and whatever. And I found myself telling her something that I've kept away from her for the rest of our life. There is land that our mother bought at a place called Kabrengu. She bought because of our sister. When my parents got married, my mother was a single mother. So among Luhyas, and the people say that I'm very tribalistic when I talk. Among Luhyas, people talk. Among Kikuyus, any talk you talk, it has to have financial capability. So they're saying, you have come with a child. land will not educate us, meaning, and she decided to buy land and invest in that piece of plot so that if land does not educate her daughter. So that is the day I told her, you know, the plot at whatever. And mom used to tell me that she bought it just as a backup because of, I never told her in my life. And that is whether she knew or not, but that is the first time she was hearing it from me. Then we departed. Then this is how my sister died. This is how my sister died. This is indebted to my viewers. I believe where my sister is, she knows, she could even tell me the truth if she had the capacity. She could even tell me what I'm saying now is wrong. She could even tell me that it is very right. She could even blame me. Why were you covering the killer? We don't know. But this is how my sister departed from this world. My sister stopped taking alcohol for a long time. And then one day, she came out of her place of work. She came out of her place of work and she looked like she was drunk. She looked like she was drunk. And people said, hey, it means, as she started drinking again, it appears that she has started drinking again. She looked drunk. But after some time, they noticed, no, this is not alcohol. At least there's something wrong with her. Then she was rushed to hospital. It is in the hospital that it was said that she had a stroke. It was at the hospital where they said she had a stroke. So when she was taken to, when she had the stroke, she was treated and discharged. She was treated and discharged, and she became an outpatient. When she became an outpatient, or of course the story spread. Because the story spread that she had a stroke and she's recovering. Somebody left Nairobi. Immediately, she heard that my sister had been discharged. And as I tell you that they were very, very close. They are very, very close. And in fact, I'm even asking, okay, the relative whom my sister came with was the owner of the land that was sold to my sister. Maybe that is why she's the one who came. But knowing my sister, whom I follow very well, in such cases, she would have contacted this other relative. But I think I know why she contacted, because this was the land seller. But anything, be it good, be it whatever, this is the relative she used to turn to. This is the relative she used to turn to. So when she heard that my sister has been discharged from the hospital, she took off, went to Mombasa. She went to Mombasa. Now, if I'm sick and my closest friend, who happens to be my relative, comes, don't you think even my family will give her a chance and whatever? Because they'll feel that she is or he is as hurt as we are. So she went there. Upon arrival in Mombasa, she decided that my sister has to board a Kenya Airways back to Nairobi. She told everybody that this one needs specialist treatment in Nairobi and not in Mombasa. My viewer will agree with me that nobody would refuse that. So she booked 2 seats in Kenya Airways. I told you that she's rich, because even I, from where I am, I cannot afford an aeroplane, Kenya Airways. But the Kenya Airways told her that for somebody who recently had a stroke and a person with hypertension and hypertension, it is not advisable for that person to go up in the skies. So she changed and took a person recovering from stroke by road. You know, covering the place by road is in itself taxing. Okay, by air there is a problem with the hate and whatever attitude, but by road you know. First of all, it takes long, and then today Nairobi's roads, the Kenya's roads are not smooth. So she was taken by road to Nairobi and stayed with this lady at her place. And then she got a second stroke. So when people started saying, oh, your sister was killed by, I said, no, no, don't you see they were very close and you see the way she was handling and whatever. But my sister's sons, my sister had no daughter. My sister's son insisted that I can repeat what the elder son told me, my nephew, that sijui mama alikula nini kwa auntie na ndiye akakufa. And I'm telling, wacha ujinga. Hii ni ugonjwa tu. After all, this is her closest friend. How comes that you say that? You know, respect you give to your uncle, they could not answer, but you could see pain in that. So many years later, here I am in the police cells, people having lunch at noon. I'm somewhere, not in the cell. So when they are having, and I said that the food was brought 15 hours after. No, it was 19 hours after I had been arrested. You remember I was about to eat supper, but I didn't have supper. So you add another 19 hours because from 8 p.m. to 3 p.m. That is 5 hours to make it what? To make it 24. So it was 19 hours. And then anybody in any institution, be it school, be it prison, be it anywhere, you know that food is, it's little. But here, she bought food from the canteen and bought it double. It is just by God's luck that the food that was there is the food that I have never tasted since 1969. Suppose I would have eaten that, and you see the food was double, and I was super hungry. I would have gulped that food a lot, and I would have, no, whoever knows, and and I would be somewhere where Ojwang is. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I feel I wronged my nephew when he said, I don't know what auntie gave my mother. I now see that. I'm just like that old lady who, I'm just like that old lady who favored the hyena only to eat it. Now the question is, what benefit do you get, especially from a person like me dying or my sister dying or whatever? I don't know. Actually, what I'm saying is not, I mean, it is my own evaluation. But suppose my own evaluation is right. Suppose it is right. Why should such a person do that? But then, maybe now I understand why people say that in some religions, for you to to get a promotion from, let's say, OCS to OCPD, blood has to be flown through your hands. That is the only explanation. Maybe if you have another explanation, you can tell me in the comments section. Thank you.